Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is July the 2nd, 2024. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Overall work was pretty fine. It was steady, not steady, like super busy, but just enough work to keep me in place, which I like that. Idle hands, the devil's workshop, or something like that. Let's see here. Will say I had a bit of a financial snafu that I had to kind of overcome. Kind of had to hit the couches, get some coins, if you know what I mean. But I think overall I'm gonna be okay. I feel like that was maybe my first bigger financial issue of the year in terms of cutting it close. But hey, we'll take it. I'm glad I'm okay. I think at least knock on some wood. I think I'm overall all right. But yeah, overall it's been a good day. I'm happy with it. Happy to be here yapping to y'all. Let's see. Food Corner last night was actually pretty good. I went out to eat. A friend and I went to El Trumpo and just had a bunch of tacos. I had 3 tacos with they were like the corn tacos, tortilla shell tacos. Let's see here, and then my friend got the burrito tacos, and they didn't want to finish all of them, so I got one plus some chips and salsa. So yeah, it was a vibe. Loved it. Let's see here. Not much else to really report. A little bit of a extra little snack that I had after that because I was still a little hungry. Is I opened up some pretzels that I got from the store, and they're kind of like pretzel bites. It's definitely a pretzel bite situation, but they are sweet Hawaiian roll pretzel bites. So that was interesting. I was thinking as I was eating them was that they're a tad too sweet for a pretzel. But I would say that if maybe they were like a cinnamon kind of situation, like a cinnamon sugar thing. And who knows, maybe I should do that. Maybe make a little cinnamon sugar for them. Because I feel like that would just be perfect. Maybe I'll report back and let y'all know. But I'm really trying not to eat bad. I bought them and then I realized they were sitting on my countertop like a Green Goblin mask. Like, eat me! And I was like, I shan't. So yeah, trying to watch these pounds. Anyway. So yeah, that's all the food. That's all the me stuff. Let's go ahead and do our startup, and we'll get into some news. Ooh, almost lost it there. I will say just a bit of corrections. I said it in the episode notes prior, at least on Spotify and YouTube. But I got the a little bit of the French election stuff wrong. Was it Jordan Bardella isn't exactly a shoo-in, and he's even gone on to add that if they don't win the majority like they need to, then he won't take the position, even though I think he could. Let's say they win, but not enough to actually take the parliament, I guess. He said he won't step into the position. So, I'll still keep you posted on that, but I was like, I flubbed that up. And then also, what is it on the Trump thing in terms of him with the immunity? I found out that he's planning on trying to get the felony charge for the hush money. He's trying to get that thrown out, and I was thinking, why? That's literally a personal charge. It happened before you were even in office. That's crazy. But because evidence was used while he was in office, apparently that is the motion, because that was something that they talked about the Supreme Court. They're saying, hey, you can't even use that stuff. That's inadmissible because he has immunity. So yeah, that's crazy. Love the ramifications of that. Anyway, let's get into the startup, and we'll get into the news of the day, or at least the news I have for today. All right. First story comes from ABC News. Turkey's president accuses opposition of stoking racism after anti-Syrian rioting erupts. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan accused opposition parties of stoking xenophobia and racism on Monday, a day after residents in a neighborhood in central Turkey said Syrian-owned set Syrian-owned shops on fire. The rioting erupted in the Melik region of central Kayseri province late on Sunday, following reports that a Syrian refugee there had allegedly sexually harassed a 7-year-old Syrian girl. Outraged residents overturned cars and set shops ablaze, calling on Syrians to leave. At least 67 people suspected in the involvement in the violence were detained. Interior Minister Ali Yerlikaya said on X, the platform, social media platform. So yeah, I mean, kind of, a parallel that I wanted to draw here is how easy it is from like one obviously very evil, fucked up situation happening, and then someone taking that and saying, hey, I'm going to anecdotally apply this to a people as a whole and say, hey, these guys are a problem. And now I haven't got to the guy who's doing that, who more or less is the opposition that Erdogan is accusing. But people take this narrative and they run with it. It is crazy. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I was upset from that presidential debate. Like, yeah, Joe Biden, he was old and gross and decrepit. But like, the shit that Trump was saying, outside of it being a lie and just highly just racist propaganda to get you to be scared of people who do not look like you, it was just crazy how blatant it was. It wasn't surprising, but just so upsetting. And just yet again, another reminder of why I'm so scared and so upset about a Trump presidency, but also at the same time knowing that, like, I've been through it before. And not just that I've been through it before, that this is a worldwide problem. And it's something that has always been going on, and it just hasn't stopped, But yeah, let's push on further in this article. Let's see here. In a televised address on Monday, Erdogan accused opposition parties which have advocated for the repatriation of refugees of inciting violence. Nothing can be achieved by fueling xenophobia and hatred of refugees in society, Erdogan said, and accused the opposition of poisonous discourse. Now, I'm not the biggest Erdogan fan, so I definitely came in here skeptic, like maybe he's just blowing smoke, but I do kind of want to hop into a little bit of history that they have here. We'll go ahead and do a little reading. When neighboring Syria's civil war broke out in 2011, Turkey received hundreds of thousands of Syrian refugees with compassion, becoming the country to host the largest refugee population globally. As the population grew and Turkey encountered escalating economic difficulties, it has seen a rise in anti-migrant sentiment. Like I said, sounds familiar. Turkey is now home to 3.6 million refugees, according to government figures, though some argue the real population may be significantly larger. Officials said the alleged abuser in the Melik Gazi region was arrested while the girl and her siblings and mother were placed under the state protection and would receive psychological support. So obviously that last part is good. But Umit Azdag, the leader of Turkey's anti-migration victory party, rejected Erdogan's accusation and blamed the Melik Gazi tensions on the government's alleged privileged treatment of Syrian refugees. And all I needed to see was that privileged in quotes, and I was like, damn, okay, so Erdogan was right. This guy's a piece of shit. Most definitely. And just a further quote from him, in summary, it's the government's wrongful Syria policy that is to blame, Ozdag said. Don't go looking elsewhere. Essentially, he wants to say, hey, no, the problem is what Erdogan did with allowing all these Syrians to be here in your space. They shouldn't be here. Look at what they're doing. They're ruining things. It's that narrative. It's that kind of fucking talk. I hate that shit. It's evil shit to do. Just to try to get, some votes, some political fucking points? Like, that's monstrous. Let's see here. Let's just keep going, because there is more. The Melik Gazi violence drew a backlash in opposition-held areas of northwestern Syria, including those controlled by Turkish-backed forces. In Syria's Aleppo province, near the border with Turkey, dozens of people gathered at the main roundabout in the town of Al-Rai to prevent entry of Turkish convoys and trucks and prevented Turkish trucks from entering the city of Al-Bab, the Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported. Videos circulating on social media show young men and boys carrying rocks and sticks, chasing after a truck bearing Turkish writing. Demonstrators also chased employees out of a Turkish post office in the Syrian city of Azaz, the group said. In some places, protesters clashed with local security forces. So obviously that side of it is also not good. You don't want to see this on any side of the conversation. It's very unfortunate how these things escalate. But tensions have been rising in Syrian opposition-held areas over an apparent rapprochement between Ankara and Syrian President Bashar Assad's government, including plans to open a crossing between government-held areas and those held by Turkish-backed opposition forces in Aleppo. So yeah, I just wanted to, speak on that a little bit, talk about that there, and we can go move on to another serious situation, also an unfortunate, sad situation, from the BBC. More than 100 killed in crush at India religious event. At least 116 people have been killed in a crush at a religious gathering in northern India. Police Inspector Gin Shalaba Mathur has said. The incident took place at a satsang, a Hindu religious a Hindu religious event in Hathras district in Uttar Pradesh state. The victims, including a large number of women and some children, are still being identified. Some survivors have described how the disaster unfolded as they tried to leave the event in Mughalahari village. Sorry about that. Y'all know I messed that up. It is not yet clear what led to the crush. Witnesses said the exit was too narrow, and when people were leaving, a fierce dust storm led to confusion and panic, causing many people to become trampled. Let's see. So it looks like when, just more or less the sermon ended, people were trying to get out and they weren't able to get out. And then naturally, kind of when that happens, there's just a panic switch that can probably just get hit, and, it's pandemonium. And, people are rushing and it just becomes a stampede. And if you're not able to get out and ahead, you're just going to get trampled. It's very sad. It's very unfortunate. Whenever we cover these situations, it really doesn't matter where it is. These outcomes just kind of wind up becoming the same. Let's see here. And unfortunately, there's also talk that it didn't seem like there was that much help, at least in the initial. Such a huge accident has happened, but not a single senior officer is present here. A relative in another video said, "Where's the administration?" So that's obviously unfortunate because those are, in the aftermath of these kind of things, people are going to be like, where was the support? You know what I mean? This is something that could have been avoided. That this is a religious event. There's going to be people here. You should have had people kind of already here to kind of help, direct the flow of people and the traffic. You know what I mean? Any kind of thing like that could have definitely helped. And then just to have people on scene quickly, at least could have made things better as well. So fortunate that seems to have not been the case. But yeah, from one bad thing to another. Now, I'm going to say Boeing, and you already know this is not good news. It's not the space shit. I haven't really heard any update on that as of yet, but it seems like, just kind of being offhand here. They're still testing the rockets. They're still saying, hey, don't worry, nothing to worry about, but, no. It's more on this side of the atmosphere, keeping it to planet Earth. From ABC News. DOJ to present Boeing with plea deal that families of 2018-2019 crash say falls short. Ugh. I'm going to run that back. DOJ to present Boeing with plea deal that families of 2018-2019 crash victims say falls short. Lawyers. Better. The Department of Justice is preparing to present the Boeing company a plea deal that would again allow the aerospace giant to avoid a trial over an alleged conspiracy to defraud the United States, according to attorneys for families of victims of two fatal Boeing 737 MAX crashes who were briefed on the department's plans Sunday afternoon. Under the proposed deal, Boeing would be required to enter a guilty plea to a conspiracy charge, which was first filed January of 2021 for allegedly misleading the FAA during its evaluation of the Boeing 737 MAX aircraft. The company must also agree to the appointment of an external corporate monitor, pay a fine of about $200 million, and remain on probation for 3 years, according to the lawyers of the families. Let's see. During the briefing with the DOJ, family members of the crash victims expressed dissatisfaction with the proposal, according to attorneys representing the families. The families contend that the deal contained no accountability and no admission that Boeing's alleged conspiracy caused the deaths of 346 people who were killed in the two MAX crashes in 2018 and 2019. The victims' families have been pushing the DOJ to take the company to trial and impose fines upwards of $20 billion. Let's see here. We'll go ahead and read this quote. I know it's a little bit long, but why not? The Justice Department is preparing to offer Boeing another sweetheart plea deal, wrote attorney Robert Clifford and Paul Cassell in a statement. The deal will not acknowledge in any way that Boeing's crime killed 346 people. It also appears to rest on the idea that Boeing did not harm any victim. The families will strenuously object to this plea. Judge Reed O'Connor of the Northern District of Texas will have to decide whether this no accountability deal is in the public interest. Indeed, he will have to decide whether to approve an agreement that ties his hands at sentencing and prevents him from imposing any additional punishment or remedial measures. The memory of 346 innocents killed by Boeing demands more justice than this, which is something I completely agree with. It's a shame that this has kind of been something that was swept under the rug. And literally, I think within days or months, they would have been able to just kind of sail away clean on, or that's probably the wrong metaphor, fly away clean, whatever, had it not been for the Alaskan Airlines fiasco with that Boeing plane and the fuselage and a boy getting his shirt sucked out, you know? That was put it back on the radar, and essentially the DOJ says, damn, okay, well, you didn't hold up your end of the bargain. And now Boeing is still trying to say, like, I feel like you guys are being really weird here. That shouldn't even matter. We actually did hold up our end of it. And we don't feel cool about this, but, like, okay. But I also think that they'll probably take this plea deal if it's offered to them in lieu of, like, any harder kind of punishment. Because I generally feel, and I think a lot of people feel the same way, that, like, someone from Boeing should be going to jail here. You know what I mean? Like, some kind of higher up, some kind of CEO, you know? Like, people literally fucking died. Also, once again, I've mentioned this before in previous episodes, but I do think location matters here. Once again, the Alaska Airlines, some American kid gets his shirt sucked up and, like, oh, you know, you know, everyone's got to apologize and, like, maybe we're talking about this shit. But literally, people died in Indonesia, and then people died in Ethiopia. And, you know, that was literally 346 people died. And it's like, we'll put you on, like, probation, dog. Like, and they're just trying to run that back again. So I guess I should say nothing has really changed here. And I know victims and stuff are asking, like, why? Like, why is this okay? Why are we discouraging it? And I'm sure that the biggest answer is money, but also that Boeing is tied to the government, the military, all that shit. You know, they're keeping everybody up in the air and shit in space even. So, you know, it's a golden goose that maybe the DOJ truly doesn't want to stab, but they know that they kind of have to. So it's like, we'll just kind of tap you on the wing. And that's what this looks like. That's what it feels like to everybody. And it sucks. I really hope that the judge says, no, fuck this shit. It's wrong. But who knows? I know that with fucking the Oxycontin shit, I know I'm just kind of jumping around, all that shit. The Sackler family literally got immunity until that shit went to the Supreme Court. Which, once again, I am surprised that they threw that out. But hey, you know, they do throw out some bones before they fucking wreck the fucking, you know, US of A. But anyway, let's use that as a poor segue to move on to our last thing. Let's fly away. Let's move on to our last bit. A little bit, actually no, from one bird to another. We're gonna be talking about a little bit of bird flu, and potentially the solution for it. But yeah, let's go ahead and take our last break, and then we'll go ahead and close it out. Sadly, it's not more cowbell. That'd be fun. That'd be cute. Oh yeah, that's yummy. Also, sorry, I know Canada Day was like Monday. Happy Canada Day. That's crazy. Y'all do your shit same week as us. I didn't know that till to this year. Ooh, fuck. Oh man. Okie dokie. Artichokes. Hopefully you're ready with me. From USA Today. Bird flu vaccine development funds awarded to Moderna amid multi-state outbreak. Moderna is set to receive $176 million in federal funding to develop a human vaccine against bird flu following outbreaks of the virus in dairy cows across several states, the Department of Health and Human Services announced Tuesday. The U.S. has documented 3 cases of humans with bird flu in 2024. All had regular contact with dairy cows. As of July, more than 130 herds across 12 states have seen infected cows. So, ew, that's a little scary, a little worrisome. The HHS award to the American vaccine manufacturer will go towards developing an mRNA-based pandemic influenza vaccine. Moderna's candidate for the vaccine draws from mRNA technology used successfully during the COVID-19 response, resulting in one of the first of the Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, authorized COVID-19 vaccines ultimately licensed by the FDA, HHS said. So essentially they're like, hey, you guys seem like a prime candidate to do this vaccine. We're going to give you guys some money, fund this kind of research so that you can keep ahead if, like, let's say this bird flu does shift into a strain that becomes more transferable. Because right now, the only way you're getting this is if you're like up on an infected cow, breathing the same air, getting the same snot on your face, taking that home with you. Then you might have a problem. That's not the average person. So the fear, though, is this is a very adaptable virus. And, like, what if it finally does make it so that once it jumps to a human, it can jump to other humans very easily? That is something that could be a big fear. Or it even jumps out of cows into other animals, and then that becomes a thing again, like, I don't know, like a COVID-style situation. I'm sounding way too scientific, and it's above my pay grade. I'm sorry. But essentially, this is going to be research that is hopefully going to help get ahead of a pandemic if that becomes an issue. Because, I mean, a lot of people have said this, and this isn't me to be like a fear monger or anything, but a pandemic, again, it's inevitable. We're going to have one, At the end of the day, though, if you have the right protocols, you can get through those things real easy. I shouldn't say real easy. You get through them easier as a people. So it's good to see that we have this awareness and that it looks like we're on it. I hope so. Though I've definitely listened to a lot of stories where the preparation and the awareness just does not feel good. But that's very country dependent, and it's also that's within your budget. Some countries can't afford that shit. And we're all fucking going through it. We're all going through our couches looking for quarters. Fuck, it's hard out here. All right, shit. I brought it full circle. I feel good about that. That's fucking good podcasting. I know you might not know that. I know you don't expect that from a guy like me, but that's a good technique I just did there. I think. Anyway, that's the episode. That's all I have. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, become a newsie today. Patreon.com/News. You do get the shout out once a month. Also, some old archive episodes, and the honor of being a newsie. You can tell your friends. Free ways to hit me up, send feedback, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com, or follow me, the podcast, on any of the socials. That's a way. Subscribe to YouTube, helps out a lot. Trying to get those numbers up and up. And then leave a comment, leave a like. Sharing is caring. It can be fun. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.